Hi crafty friends, welcome back to my channel. So today we're doing something a little bit different. So many of my friends have been memory planning and I have been looking at their spreads and drooling over their spreads and wondering if there was room in my life for one more project, and I have decided to give memory planning a go. So this is not going to replace my monthly project life spreads, because you'll see that by the time I'm done, there will be very little journaling on this page. My intention for memory planning is to just be a snapshot of my week. So there aren't going to be any like in-depth stories. It's going to be a way for me to, one, use up some digital products that I have in my stash that I want to use, and two, just get a quick overview flipping through of my week as I'm looking through the year. So I actually didn't cut this one up because I screwed up some of the sizing on the photos. But these are my photos for this is the 13th, week 3 of January. So I literally just went through my Lightroom and printed out an overview of what I thought my week looks like. And that is it. I'm not, I'm not reinventing the wheel. There aren't going to be a ton of photos or anything. Also, it'll be a place for me to do some stamping because I don't really stamp. So it'll be fun to play with some stamps. So I have all my photos. I have some digitals I cut out from the Indoorsy collection by Traci. I will link everything in the description box, but my plan is literally to stick things down in these boxes and see what happens. So I hope you come along for the ride and let's see what we can create together. Alright crafty friends, so the first thing I did was pull out some stamps to stamp my date, because this is a completely clean grid. There is nothing on this. It is 8.5 by 11, so it's sized to fit the big happy planner, but I'm going to be keeping my memory planning pages in an 8.5 by 11 album that I scored at Michael's. So since this is a clean canvas, the first thing I decided to do was stamp the week number. Now the stamps that I'm using, I will link everything in the description box if they're still on sale from the manufacturers that make these particular stamps. These are the oversized numbers from Kerry Bradford's studio. She released these around December daily, so they might still be in stock, but they're just a giant number set, and I have a thing for numbers. I don't know if it's because December daily is my favorite project or if I just have a thing for numbers, but I have a thing for number stamps, and so whenever I see a giant number stamp, I have to get my hands on it. So I stamped out the number 3. And now I'm going to stamp the word week over the number 3 to signify that this is week 3. That stamp set is from Ali Edwards. And again, not sure if these are on sale, but I will be sure to look for everything that I can find in the description box. So now that I have it labeled as week 3, I'm going to work with stamping my dates over the top. Now my plan was to stamp the numbers in the distress ink and then stamp the day of the week in archival ink over top. So I just went across and stamped all the ones, since it was luckily a week where every date started with the number 1. And then I went in and added the individual numbers to complete the dates. Now the distress ink I'm using is called Tattered Rose, and I picked that color based on the colors in the Indoorsy collection. I stamped everything on a piece of scrap paper first before I put it on my page, because it's been it's been a while since I've done any sort of weekly memory keeping, so I haven't used these stamps in quite some time. So I stamped everything off on my scrap paper before stamping it on my page. And I love stamping with the Distress Oxides if I'm going to stamp over top, because they kind of behave like a chalk ink, so you can layer over them really well. And then this stamp set is from Ellie Studio, and it is I think it's just called the Days of the Week. It's designed to go with that dated stamp line that Ellie has, and it has the stamps that have the full day of the week, but then it also has the stamps that have the three letters. So it's perfect for this particular project because there's not a lot of space on top to stamp a full day, but you can stamp the 3 letters. So now you see I have the number of the day of the week, and then over top I have the actual day of the week. And I love the way that looks. I love the way the Tattered Rose looks over beneath the day of the week stamp. And I got this tip from Andrea, that's Retro Hip Mama. If you're struggling with stamping, she recommends that you stamp over a mouse pad because it helps you get a better impression. So what I did was I just took that foam that comes in the MISTI, like I took it out of the MISTI, and that is what I was stamping on top of. So off camera, I went ahead and situated where I wanted my cards and my photos to fit in the spread. And then I took a picture on my phone after I had pretty much situated where I wanted everything to go. If you guys at any point want a Photoshop tutorial for resizing your photos or your digital elements to fit in this particular template, because there are a lot of memory planner templates that are on sale right now from different people. Like I use this one from Traci Reed. I know Andrea has one. I know Shannon has one. So if the pretty much the concept behind resizing your stuff to fit in these boxes is the same. So if at any point you want a tutorial on how to resize your digital elements and your photos to fit in these boxes, please let me know in the description box. Also, Traci Reed has a great one already up. So if you're not following her and you want to do some hybrid work, she is a great resource to go to for instructions on how to start with this. She has ready-made templates where you kind of just pick and stick things. And then my approach was to just resize things so it fit in these boxes. So any approach will work as long as you're getting your stories told and you're having fun while doing so. So again, if you want a quick Photoshop tutorial on how I got ready for this page, please let me know. I went ahead and I literally just resized all of the cards from the Indoorsy collection that I wanted to use. And then I printed them down at this size and trimmed them once I'd printed them out. And then I showed you my photo sheet. I knew that I wanted that photo of Joshua to fit 4 boxes. I had one photo that I wanted to be 2 boxes, and then the rest of my photos are just 1 box. And so I did, there's going to be little snippets of journaling here and there just so I remember what story I was telling and why it was in this spread. But I did do a fair amount of journaling on finally getting a new computer. So that's what that brick of text is on the left page in the upper corner. And then on the right side, I'm just going ahead and, again, sticking down my photos and my cards. Now, when I built this layout, when I tried to arrange it the first time, I tried to make sure that the photos weren't next to each other and that the page was balanced. Now, you'll see on the right side, it becomes a little bit more difficult to do because I have that big photo of Joshua cooking, and then I have that two square photo of me on the floor. I try to get the photos as close to the date of the event as possible. So that cooking photo happened on Sunday and that photo on the floor happened on Saturday. So I didn't want to put it on the other side just because, again, it doesn't matter what day of the week these things happen, but I was trying to stick to the authenticity of the story as much as possible. So the right side does end up being a little bit photo heavier than the left side, because the left side, there's still 4 photos on either side, but the photos on the right side feel larger. So I tended to put more embellishments on the left side to kind of balance the weight of the spread, if that makes any sense. So everything is in the boxes, and now I get to working on embellishing. So Traci has, if you have a silhouette, she has the die cuts for the Indoorsy collection already set on a sheet where you can literally just load it into your silhouette, print it, and cut it with the registration marks. Also, she has a sheet that if you're hand cutting, you can fussy cut it. So whatever your approach is to getting your digital embellishments, she has you covered. I have a silhouette cameo, so I literally loaded this bad boy up into my silhouette and let it print and cut, and then pulled it off my mat, and see, I have them all on the left side. So the beauty of working on a style like this or in a spread like this is you can literally just do with it what you want. If 1 week you want a more graphic page, you can go with a more graphic page. If 1 week you want a more embellished page, you can go with a more embellished page. This week I decided that I wanted to really play with the Indoorsy collection and use up a bunch of those florals and those labels. Also, those labels made a really convenient place to add tiny stories since I wasn't using any journaling cards that had journaling space. If I was using a different kit that had journaling space, then I probably wouldn't have used as many embellishments. But since all of the cards were pretty much pattern paper, and then it was really easy to just layer over some labels, like circles or the actual label shape with journaling. So I went ahead and added some washi to fill up the bottom. That's some Maggie Holmes washi that I had in my stash. I thought it worked with the colors really well. So on the photo of Joshua, I just talked a little bit about how we're meal prepping again and how we're getting back after eating nothing but junk food the entire time. My last semester, like I don't think I cooked at all, and Joshua rarely cooked, so we had so much takeout. Like we had Chinese food and Taco Bell and so many terrible things for us. And so we're cooking and we're meal prepping again, and I was so proud of us. And so that's that little story that I was telling on those labels. And then in the bottom right, on the photo of me laying down on the ground, it was a photo I had taken as I was setting up to do some yoga. That's why the TV had YouTube on. And I just wrote a tiny story about finding what feels good and about being in my body. On the top right of that side, top left of that side, you guys might already know this, but I had to get a wisdom tooth pulled. I had my bottom teeth pulled when I was 18 and I thought I was free. And then I had to get a tooth pulled the other day. And so I got that tooth pulled, on that Thursday, which is why that photo is on that Thursday. And the die cut that I used pretty much said that I wanted to stay home all day after that because it was horrible. And the good thing about the photo on the bottom being of the groceries is since it's connected to the story of Joshua cooking, I didn't really have to do any sort of journaling about that. So I could kind of layer my embellishments so it hung into that photo. And it didn't bother me so much that that was being covered up a little bit because you could still see the shopping cart. And that was the important part, that you could see the shopping cart and see the photo the story that I was telling. And then my journaling is on that tag and it's layered with that die cut. So I'm literally just grabbing things and sticking them down. I am like literally not second guessing anything. There are so many fun teacups in this collection, and I knew I wanted to put a teacup down. The beauty of this collection was, since it was all about being at home, it was perfect for this week because most of the stories I was telling was about being at home and just, resting and recovering. And so it was perfect for this. But if you aren't if you aren't telling those stories, there are plenty of like teacups and books. So if you just want to talk about like if you're documenting reading or something like that, this kit is also perfect for that. And I just really like the colors. I love warm pastels and neutrals, so I'm all about the colors in this kit. So now I'm moving on to the left side of my spread. So you see the right side, it's embellished. There's stuff everywhere. I'm adding some journaling to the left side. And I was journaling about the weather. It has been the warmest January we've ever had in New York City. And we've gotten barely any snow. And since we haven't gotten any snow and it's been super warm, all we've gotten is rain. It's literally rains like 3 times a week, every week since this winter started. And I am so sick of the winter. I'm so sick of this rain. So I have this picture of me with my hood up as I'm walking home because the rain is like, it's like annoying enough that you can't, like, it's annoying to be out in, but it's barely raining hard enough to like open an umbrella, if that makes any sense. So, cause it's misty, so it'll blow under your umbrella. So I'm just like, I literally am stuck wearing my hood all the time because it's raining and it's annoying. So that's the story that I was telling there. Underneath that, I added, it looks like some sort of like macrame. It's like one of those like yarn hangings. I added that with a little banner just documenting designing for Traci Reed for another term. So that's what I was documenting there. And then I added a picture of my newest manicure. I have been loving getting manicures again now that I don't have to be a grungy nursing student. I wasn't allowed to have like nail polish or wear jewelry or pretty much be a person for the 2 years that I was in nursing school. So I've been loving getting my nails done again. So that was just a quick picture I took at the nail salon right after I got my nails done. And I am really loving how this is coming out, you guys. Like, again, you see that there is a bunch of embellishments on the left side to balance out the weight on the right side. So in that final empty square, I am just layering some labels. So I cut some labels down so that they're kind of like hanging, like I have that like look where you're hanging off into the other square. So I cut some labels down. There's a gray one and a yellow one. And then I add a green circle, and I'm not adding any journaling to this. This is literally just an embellishment cluster to fill up this space. I said in my intro that I'm not telling like huge stories or doing like real journaling in this. This is just so I could flip through and get a quick snapshot of what my week is, and then the more in-depth stories and the journaling will go in my monthly project life. But with monthly project life, you can't put everything in it, because otherwise you'd be doing weekly project life. So this is just going to be a place to document the small stories. Like, I don't know if my manicure would have made it into my monthly project life spread, because I'm going to be picking and choosing what stories I tell there, but it's a perfect story to throw in this weekly memory keeping format, which is why I'm really glad that I'm giving this a shot. Honestly, I made this one layout and I'm hooked, you guys. So this might be, and this whole thing took maybe 30 minutes. I think it took 30 minutes. It took me like 10 minutes to resize the cards and 30 minutes to put the layout together. So it's really approachable size. And you could just use what you have in your stash to do this. Like, you don't actually have to go out and buy anything new for this type of memory keeping. You can literally use what you have at hand. So the last thing I go ahead and do is finish up the currently sidebar portion of the spread. So I added some more die cuts underneath and above that week 3. I'm just trying to find a way to fill up that empty space. In hindsight, I wish I had either stamped my week 3 a little bit lower or closer to the top, because I put it in a really weird place, and now I'm trying to figure out how to fill up that sidebar. And I literally just grabbed a bunch of die cuts and layered it, and that finishes up the spread. So I hope you enjoyed watching, you guys. I hope you give memory planning a try. I think it's going to be a really, really fun. I mean, honestly, I have so many friends who are already doing this. I think it is really taking off, and it's a really approachable size for people. Also, it's just an easy way to use up whatever you have. Like, you don't have to go out and buy anything to make this work. And I think it's going to be a really, really fun way for me to document this year. So again, thank you so much for watching, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please feel free to give me a thumbs up if you're so inclined, and like and thumbs up are the same. And comment and subscribe if you aren't doing so already. And if you love this memory planning format, please let me know in the comments so I know to keep sharing this with you. Or if there's anything you want to see about my process before we get to the page, please let me know. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, you guys. I love you all so much. Until next time, keep it crafty and have the best day, and I will see you around. Bye!